Senator Bato Dela Rosa appeals to President Marcos not to enforce the warrant issued by the ICC. The ICC arrest warrant against Bato Dela Rosa lists his role in Duterte's drug war. Senator Sotto clarifies he was informed about the arrest warrant for Bato Dela Rosa, but he did not know the senator would be at the Senate that day. DICT Chief Henry Aguda denies a report he had resigned. And US President Donald Trump says the Iran ceasefire is on life support. Senator Ronald Bato Dela Rosa appeals to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. not to carry out the warrant issued against him by the International Criminal Court.
Huwag niya akong ipadala sa Hague.
Dela Rosa is subject of the ICC warrant after he was found to be allegedly criminally liable for crimes against humanity. He tells Marcos to understand his situation.
Hindi natin alam. Pagdating ng araw, ikaw rin, Mr. President, haharap sa ganitong sitwasyon. Ikaw rin, Mr. President, ang pagkaproblema na ganito, mamalaman mo. You will feel what I feel right now.
The senator said in 2025 he was not afraid of an ICC warrant. He added then that if he were arrested, it would allow him to take care of former President Rodrigo Duterte in the ICC facility. But it seems he is no longer willing to follow Duterte to The Hague. When asked how he feels about his possible arrest, he says,
Very low. The lowest point of my life.
Dela Rosa has been absent from the Senate for months after Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Boying Remulla said an ICC warrant had been issued against him. He appeared on Monday, May 11, to support the election of his ally, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, as the new Senate President. The International Criminal Court issues an arrest warrant against Senator Ronald Bato Dela Rosa over his alleged involvement in the war on drugs. The warrant states the court found reasonable grounds to believe Dela Rosa committed the crime against humanity of murder. It was issued by the ICC pretrial chamber in November 2025 and unsealed on Monday, May 11, after Dela Rosa was chased by the NBI at the Senate. The ICC prosecution described the warrant as an important step in the ongoing pursuit of accountability for killings linked to the anti-drug campaign. The warrant details Dela Rosa's role in the drug war, such as that he knew about the operations and their scope, created a network of perpetrators, and controlled a structure of power. He also allegedly pushed messaging that implementation entailed the commission of crimes and threatened the ICC, fueled disinformation, and risked victims' security. Senate Minority Leader Sotto says the National Bureau of Investigation informed him a day earlier about the arrest warrant for Senator Bato Dela Rosa. But he says he was not aware nor informed that Dela Rosa would be at the Senate on Monday, May 11.
Little did I know that, Senator Dela Rosa, after 7 months of not being here, will suddenly come. Kaya ganun kasimple lang yung sinabi ko. Coordinate with the OSA. They know the rules.
Sotto adds, had he known that Dela Rosa was finally showing up after a months-long absence, he would have had a different perspective. He also says, when the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group earlier subpoenaed Dela Rosa, the document was served only to his office. He expects the same process to be followed since he did not know Dela Rosa would be at the Senate on Monday. Sotto says he had to make the clarification as he's being portrayed as someone who had allowed the NBI to barge into the Senate to carry out the arrest. He also notes, when then-Senators Laila de Lima and Antonio Trillanes were served warrants in the past, they surrendered to the authorities who came to the Senate. Information and Communications Technology Secretary Henry Aguda denies rumors of his resignation. Aguda says, I deny the false reports and speculations that I have resigned from my position as Secretary of the DICT. He claims the agency has been steadfast in its efforts to combat disinformation and the spread of fake news. Billionario News Channel earlier reported Aguda's resignation, citing 2 sources. The post has since been taken down. Rumors surfaced after the DICT was criticized over outages and issues in the eGovPH app and the National ID E-Verify platform. Officials claim this was due to a surge of users and insufficient back-end infrastructure along with alleged budget issues.
Nagtipid po kami ng resources. Kung ano po yung natipid namin sa cloud services namin, yun po yung ginamit po namin po nang nilaunch po yung Digital National ID.
Senator Bam Aquino replied, saying,
Clearly, that's not acceptable.
US President Donald Trump says the ceasefire with Iran is on life support. Trump also rejects Iran's response to the US's peace proposal for talks to end the war, calling it a piece of garbage. Iran had called for an end to the war on all fronts, including Lebanon, where US ally Israel is fighting Iran-backed Hezbollah militants. Tehran also demanded compensation for war damage, an end to the US naval blockade, and its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. But Trump says Iran's response threatens the status of a ceasefire that has been set since April 7. He says the response is the weakest right now and claims he didn't even finish reading it. The US proposed an end to the war but did not include talks on more contentious issues like Iran's nuclear program. Meantime, Tehran remains firm in its stance. Iran's parliament speaker Mohammad Bakir Khalibaf also says its armed forces are ready to respond to any act of aggression. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the wrap.